This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring former FBI Special Agent and Chief of the Counterintelligence Behavioral Analysis Program, Robin Dreeke.
Let's listen to some testimony here. It's Sergeant Bucknick describing John O'Keefe's injuries and talking about the abrasions that were found on his clothing.
Now, in addition to the injuries that you observed to Mr. O'Keefe's face, what, if any, injuries did you observe to his extremities?
His extremities produced abrasions to his upper forearm and lower bicep area on his right arm.
And just as you use that term, I'm not asking for any sort of medical definition, but as far as you use that term abrasions, what do you understand that term to be?
I understand that term to be a injury sustained through blood force trauma or friction to the epidermis of the skin, where a crushing of the vascular system occurs and produces that type of sign on the skin.
And from your observation of the injuries to Mr. O'Keefe's arm, which arm was this again?
It was his right arm.
And as far as your observation of those injuries to his right arm, what, if any, as far as the consistency of those injuries, what, if anything, did you note or observe in reference to those?
Objection. Consistency with what? With the...
Let me rephrase this.
Yeah.
How were the abrasions that you're describing positioned in relation to each other?
Each abrasion appeared to me to be linear and concentrated in a specific location on the arm. It didn't go any further north of a point and did not go any further south of a point. So it was concentrated in the elbow, a few inches below the elbow, a few inches above the elbow on the right arm.
So I'm going to ask you before I make my commentary, what's your take on that sort of an injury right there?
Something hit him.
Yeah.
I literally, and again, I know I keep harping on this. So something hit him. Could have been a vehicle, could have been falling down, could have been stairs, could have been, because I'm not a forensic, injury guy.
Yeah.
But could have been a vehicle, could have been her vehicle, could have been someone else's vehicle. Again, when you have the type of injury, when you have the type of evening they had, a lot of things could have happened.
Yes. I mean, does it sound like it could be injuries from a fight?
I think we'd have to see pictures of it.
Yeah.
Descriptions of it. So here's the other thing too. Just because, we're getting a package of the injuries being described, it doesn't mean that all those injuries happened at the same time.
Yeah, true.
There could have been a fight at one point. They could have fallen downstairs at another point. Could have been hit by a car at another point. I mean, you don't
could have
know,
been everything. Yeah.
You don't know when any of these happened because, again, what's the underlying thing here?
Drugs.
No one has an accurate memory.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, I mean, how many, just for everyone listening, how many people have actually been someplace where people have overindulged and dumb things happen? People fall down, stumble throughout the evening from doing things. I mean, what they're trying to do is, in this one clip here is package them all together, but we don't know if they're all happened at the same time or not.
Sure.
I mean, there's no way to tell that unless you actually had eyewitness evidence, but there was none. So you're trying to match up potential vehicle damage with the injuries there, and they might not completely overlay, even though it might be, but other injuries might have happened throughout the same evening. We don't know.
It's trying to put a puzzle together when you have broken pieces of the puzzle. you can't quite. Should this fit together? Should it not? I don't know.
It's a great analogy, Tony. It's trying to put a puzzle together from the pieces you have, but you don't have the picture of knowing what you're trying to build.
True. Yeah, I think that's just where it's sitting right now. It's certainly a fascinating trial no matter what, but I don't know. I don't know that anyone's going to be able to prove anything other than just a lot of bad behavior.
Yeah, and I think that's the key point there. And when you look at things like this, just because evidence presents itself from defense or prosecution as a package, this is what objective people do. You just don't say, well, okay, it all happened at the same time. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we don't know the data on that. I mean, that's the first thing that struck me. It's like, how do we know all that happened at the same time? They're saying it did, but they're assuming it did. But and therein lies a reason, more reasonable doubt, as to if it doesn't make sense. If you can't understand it, it means we don't have all the data to put it together. So there's lots of missing pieces here.
Lots.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.